Nightmare Alley is a 2021 American neo-noir psychological thriller film, directed by Guillermo del Toro. It is based on the 1946 novel of the same name by William Lindsay Gresham, being the second feature film adaptation of Gresham's novel following the 1947 version. The film stars Bradley Cooper as the charming and ambitious carnival worker with a mysterious past who takes big risks to boost his career. Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, William Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara, Perlman, Mary Steenburgen, and David Strathairn also star. Now, this movie has been critically acclaimed and was even recognized by famed film director Martin Scorsese, who wrote an open letter to the Los Angeles Times praising the movie and pushing people to go and watch it. Unfortunately, however, the movie has been a box office bomb, and having made only $33 million compared to its $60 million budget. It was also nominated at the 94th Academy Awards for Best Picture. Most of the early scenes were filmed after production suspended during the COVID-19 pandemic. Bradley Cooper used his time to lose 15 pounds to appear younger for the beginning of the film. Now, Nightmare Alley is a superb film. Visually fascinating, dark and intriguing. You'll keep guessing and wondering throughout the movie as you navigate life in the early 1940s with Stanton Carlyle. Early in the movie we see him burning a body. Suddenly now he is alone in this world, lost on a bus, until he arrives at a carnival, where by chance he lends a helping hand to the carnies, and suddenly becomes one himself. He initially starts his career as a carny, working for the clairvoyant Madame Zena, played by the ever-reliable Toni Collette. But it is her husband Peter who fascinates him, with his tales of mysticism and the ability to communicate with the dead. He starts to perfect Pete's teachings, and then finds his own act in mentalism. Along the way, he meets and falls for Molly, who is played by Rooney Mara, who was perfectly cast for this role as the naive and innocent Molly, who just wants to find love and be accepted. She is the moral compass in this film, as the rest of the characters are deviant and morally corrupt. Later, we are introduced to Dr. Lilith Rider, played with cold decisiveness and brilliance by Cate Blanchett, one of the most versatile actresses around. It is here now where the plot thickens, with many dark twists and turns, as Stanton's pursuit of wealth and fame costs him as he digs himself further into a deeper and deeper hole, of which he may not be able to return from. There are also some smaller roles in the film that play a huge significance within the whole overall story of the movie. Willem Dafoe is as excellent as the uncaring Clement Hotley, a carny who runs a freak show, with his opening act being the geek. Now, the geek is originally from the German word Geck, meaning fool or simpleton, a term used around circuses and carnivals to describe the wild man or woman. In a typical geek show in the mid-19th century, we'd have a person on stage biting the head off of an animal and then drinking its blood. Often dragged out, the act of biting off the head was the pinnacle of the performance, leaving the audience with the scene of bloodshed and death, an aspect of the movie which shocks and horrifies. Also there is Richard Jenkins as Ezra Riddle, a very complex and misleading character. And then we have also Mary Steenburgen, who I haven't seen in years, in a very small but shocking role. Also, it's nice to see Ron Perlman once again, a frequent collaborator on most of Guillermo del Toro's movies. Now, I have always been a huge fan of Guillermo del Toro's work, from the award-winning Shape of Water to the unforgettable Pan's Labyrinth, to the bigger films like Hellboy and Pacific Rim. He has a certain style, a panache, from art house to full big budget. He has a je ne sais quoi to his filmmaking that always makes his movies impactful. And he has a taste for the macabre and the offbeat, with horrifying visuals, but never really crossed the line into complete and utter horror. For me, this film is beautifully filmed, dark, brooding, with beautiful use of light in every scene. It's like a painting coming to life, as his use of precise angles and colours plays out perfectly as a visual feast. Now, Bradley Cooper is brilliant as Stanton Carlyle, and this film is entirely focused on him, with everyone else being in smaller supporting roles, playing off of him. Stanton Carlyle is a complex, intelligent and tough and egotistical character, and Bradley Cooper really brings him to life with such panache and style that you couldn't take your eyes off of him. In order to prepare for the role, Bradley Cooper was requested to box by Guillermo del Toro, in order to convey that Stanton had had a tough past and knew how to fight. Stanton is a hard man and a victim of his circumstances, and he only knows one way to survive, and will do anything to find a way. Now, Nightmare Alley is a visual feast. I love the 40s settings and the look into the often misunderstood, yet often sometimes detestable, carnival lifestyle, and how one man can improve his luck by chance, and through intelligence and great opportunity he can fulfill some of his lifelong dreams, but also not knowing when to draw a line can bring you back full circle. My one gripe with the film was its running length, as it was quite long, but in the same breath the story fascinates you so much it would be hard to edit out too much of the story as you get so immersed into Del Toro's vision. Nightmare Alley gets an 8 out of 10.